All right.
Hello there.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going?
Happy Monday, Ashley. How are you doing?
Happy Monday. I'm good. I'm just a little tired today, but I'm here.
You had a
How are
big
you?
weekend, and you have to tell
Oh,
everyone
so
about
cool.
your exciting weekend with a lot of the virtual Cantina family, from what I heard.
Yeah, it was so good to see everybody, and I'm sorry you couldn't make it. You were missed.
Thank you.
Um,
Yes, I was
yeah.
sad to have missed it. I do want to get a full recap from everyone in the chat as well as people start to join about Boston Fan Expo because I hear it was a fabulous time.
Oh, so good. So fun. So good to see a lot of the members and Spencer and Frank and um, just hang out, get some food and most importantly, like meet some Star Wars people.
Yeah,
It's prime weekend for that.
the guest list was good. And there's some big names like Ewan. I know Ewan was probably the get of the show, the whole show. There were some other big names too, and there's some Lord of the Rings people. So it looked like it was like a solid guest list for this convention, which I would call like a mid-sized convention. Like there was a pretty impressive guest list.
That's true. Yeah. And the names it wasn't, usually we'll get like, older old original trilogy cast members and stuff. And I think they pulled out the stops with a big group of those. And it was good to see to have Anthony and Ming-Na and Ewan and yeah, just a good time.
Nice mix, and then the virtual cantina family themselves. So
Yes.
apologies to everyone who was coming looking for me. I was a canceled guest, along with the other main reason for my cancellation. Catherine Tate canceled. I know, like deep tears here. What's funny is the entire time I was getting ready for that, I was like, I've missed her before. This is kind of my white whale. I'm so excited it's finally happening. By the way, my Doctor Who cosplay isn't going well. That should have been a hint. And then she canceled like the day before, 2 days
Yeah.
before. So we like fully canceled my trip. My husband and I were like, there will be other conventions. We definitely want to meet her. So we got refunds on everything except the tickets. We were luckily able to like give Spencer the tickets to give to some people in the Facebook group. So I heard the tickets got used. So that's very
Yay.
exciting. So that's good.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll save our money for the next show. Everyone else on the guest list, we had bought no autographs and no photo ops other than Catherine Tate. So for us, it was like I've got New York Comic Con coming up. I'm now
Right.
going to a Monster Mania. There's a few things happening, so I was like, what?
Nice.
Let's just regroup, and I'll get to see you and Spencer and everyone else at another time.
Oh yeah, we're around.
Yeah, and I see you every Monday. So
Yeah, right here.
we do our little rebels thing. Hi to everyone joining. I see Sarah and
Hi,
Dave and
Sarah.
Sherry.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Sherry. Oh, so good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for helping pull me out of my funk after a weekend of missing Catherine Tate. But it ended up being fine. I ended up spending time with family. So I saw
That's
my sister,
important.
my brother-in-law, and my two nieces. So I spent a lot of time with them on Saturday or Friday. My husband and I had taken the vacation day. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go to work. That's stupid. So we just went to go see my sister and spent the day there. And
Oh,
then
that's great.
it was good. And then it did some cleaning. And so as we get into
That's
the
not
episode,
great.
I'll show you like it yielded some interesting finds that I had like
Ooh.
forgotten about, like things in boxes. This giant Inquisitor figure from like I don't
Ooh.
even know. Is this Jack specific? Maybe I have to like look it up. But I've stupid stuff like that.
That's
Just,
that's really cool.
you know. So good times. Um,
Yeah.
let's tell everyone what's on the agenda for tonight.
All right. We're going to be watching season 4, episodes 3 and 4. In the Name of the Rebellion, part 1 and 2. And this is a big episode. This is brings in all the heavy hitters of the rebellion, Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma, and they're at odds with how they view the rebellion at this point in time.
Yeah, they are
And
on very opposite sides of the how.
mhm. And the Ghost Crew kind of gets caught up in the middle of it, but as you see, they learn that it's not just their small little corner of Lethal anymore. They're involved in something much bigger than Lethal.
Yeah. Season 4 is when things really start to feel real. Like we are
Yeah.
laser focused on the finale, and we're approaching Rogue One and A New Hope territory. I really enjoy these episodes because we're on the base on Yavin 4, along with the Rebel cast that we've grown to know and love, like Hera and Zeb and Chopper and Kanan and Ezra and Sabine, and they're there on Yavin. Like it's weird because that's where like
Yeah.
Leia lives. You know what I mean? And Mon Mothma's there, and we see the giant hologram Saw Gerrera. This is like the fledgling build of the rebellion. And it's really great to see because they don't know what they're doing yet. They're kind of figuring it out, day by day and fighting amongst themselves about what the right approach is. How do you resist the Empire? They're so big. It's such a almost impossible struggle. And there are two very diametrically opposed sides to the how we fight, which becomes a big question in the episode, how we fight. So Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma, pick a side. And that's what these two episodes dive into, which is very exciting.
These are two of my favorite episodes in the entire series because it really gets the ball rolling in everything that leads up to the finale of not only season 4 but this series. And there's some big decisions made here.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that Yavin 4 has been around this long. It makes sense because when you see it in A New Hope, there's a line early in the movie where Leia is asked to reveal the location of the secret rebel base, and she says Dantooine, and we have Dantooine dropped into dialogue in Rebels. And so at one point, I thought we were going to actually go to Dantooine, and instead there was Chopper Base. Which we spent a lot of time on in season 3, and now we are literally on Yavin. And if there was anyone who had doubts about Rebels' importance in like the larger saga, the fact that they spend so much time here with these like core members of the rebellion who really like Bail Organa is deeply involved, Mon Mothma is deeply involved, Saw Gerrera obviously coming in Rogue One, huge part. Wedge Antilles is here. These episodes really hammer home the fact that like the Ghost Crew and Phoenix Squadron, super important. Oh, there's the baby. That's Ahsoka, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, she's so cute.
She missed me. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Believe me, people want to see the cat more so than the episode, I would think.
Yeah, and it's such a big change, I think, for the way the storytelling has been up until this point.
Hmm.
So honestly, like if you guys have been participating in our watch alongs, like trust us when we say this is a big couple of episodes for the series.
Yeah, these are some big ones, and it's the first ones we're doing in season 4. So the stakes are super high at this point because there aren't a lot of episodes left. We're nearing the end game. And as I mentioned, like you can see it in this picture that's used for the graphics, some familiar looking faces, and some really heavy hitters in the franchise. Especially with Mon Mothma coming into Andor now, which is again the reason we're doing all this. Andor August and then some.
As a nice little drop in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting, and I've been talking up Andor and everything about it all weekend. People were coming by the table and looking at Joe's Rogue One art, and loving it, loving where it's gonna go, loving to see the trailer. So this is a great start to getting to that point.
Yeah, I think Andor is a dark horse for Disney series of the year. And it hasn't
Agreed.
come out yet, but I think people are going to be really happy with this. I can't wait. I can't believe it's still a month away. That's what's so
I know.
crazy. Like, and we have the end of September to count down to. But that's why you're with us. That's why you're joining us every Monday. We're going to help count you down
Yes.
and get you do your early homework. And I always say like you don't need to do pre-readings for anything Star Wars because trust me, they will hit you over the head with the connectivity, and like they'll show you someone and then they'll tell you who they are and then you'll do stuff with them. Like that's sort of the way they introduce their, like Cad Bane even coming in Boba Fett. You did not need to watch the Clone Wars to get a sense as to who that character is. Great if you have and you've got that extra layer of information, that extra foundation, but it wasn't critical. It wasn't like a must do. And by the way, every YouTuber had a video out the next day with like, who's Cad Bane? We're doing this ahead of time for you. Who's Mon Mothma? If you don't remember, who's Saw Gerrera? Why are they important? We even have a Wedge Antilles watching along, guys. Like that's how long this thing is going.
We care to keep you informed, not after the fact. We're getting you prepared. So
Yes, that's the big countdown plan. So we are going to start our watch along in the next minute or so, since we have a double episode, and we'll run them like straight through. So we probably won't take more than just a couple second break. Going
right.
from episode 1 to 2, that'll take us to like the 10 o'clock hour here on the East Coast time. And it sounds like everyone's tired tonight. People are talking about big weekends, big activity. Dave was in
Yes.
Disney. Yeah, it's been everyone was busy, busy.
Yeah, so many awesome things. I know Jeff just got back from Batu West. Congratulations. Hope you saw some good things. I saw your Chewy photo today. So nice to get hugs from Chewy now.
Oh yeah, that's back. That's exciting. So we went in March, which was so stupid the more I think about it, because like it was right before they really started reopening a lot of the character activities, and before they announced that Boba Fett and Fennec would be roaming around Batuu.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it, like now I gotta go back again. There's no escape.
Oh, damn.
I know. Yeah, it's one of those
No, I
things
know.
where I've got to. It's less about like getting to the park, and it's more about the time off from work and the logistics of everything else, and then needing to get onto a plane because air travel is terrible. One of the other
Yeah.
reasons we canceled Boston, I was like, the more I think about it, like the travel time to be on a flight, it's more like it's as long for me to get to the airport than it is being in the air on a flight that short. But you'll still wait around for 2 hours on both sides. That and it ruins your whole day. It's terrible. I hate
At,
traveling. I
at
hate
that
it.
rate, I would have come and got you. I was driving
I
through
know
that
I could have
area.
driven. But our next two trips that we're doing are very local and close, and they're like less than 2 hour drives. So I'm
Oh,
like, all
good.
right, that's the kind of travel that I've become accustomed to in the quarantine, pandemic, endemic, et cetera. And
Yeah.
so even when I had to fly out to San Diego Comic Con and to Anaheim for celebration, I was like, at least like getting on the plane is worth a flight that's that long, as much as being on a flight that long is annoying. Still
Yeah.
worth.
I understand. You got to work up to that.
Yeah. All right, it looks like we're about that time. Do you want to do the countdown for everyone? Remind everyone what episodes we're watching.
Sure thing. So it is going to be season 4, episode 3, and it's called In the Name of the Rebellion, Part 1. And we're going to start watching in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
So I usually do my rewatch on Sundays, and I need to prepare for this. But I did mine on Saturday or Friday when I was at my sister's and my brother-in-law's, and my niece does not care for Star Wars that much. She's watched like a couple of the movies. She's watched Attack of the Clones, weirdly enough, and she
Oh,
likes
wow.
Phantom Menace a lot, which makes sense because little Anakin is a kid and she's a 5-year-old. So I think she can
Yeah.
see herself there, right? And she loves the pod racing scene. So it's like, oh, this makes perfect sense. But she didn't get into Rebels, but I also was just watching this out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, another time I'm going to indoctrinate her. Just you wait.
She'll come around.
Beautiful, by the way. The Yavin 4 base is so gorgeous in animation. I think it looks better than in the movies. I'm going to say it.
So this is the first time that Sabine is seeing Zeb and Hera and Chopper since coming back from Mandalore. So that's why there's a little bit of a reunion vibe here.
And they say the word reunion too. There are these little things throughout, and I was like, "That's in the finale." So season 4 kicks off with Heroes of Mandalore, which is the big fight where Sabine has the dark saber. She had been training with it toward the end of season 3, and then gives it to Bo-Katan to lead their people against the Empire. So that whole Mandalore subplot, as of now, I would consider resolved, and we're on to the building of the bigger rebellion. And as you can see, the planes that are coming in now in smoke.
Oh, this is not good.
Yeah, they're returning from a mission that did not go well. And we have two things happening: the building of the rebellion and the focus of Mon Mothma and what the big rebellion needs to be. And then Ezra dealing with like there's still a problem on Lothal. So Lothal needs to be a focus for him.
And she's telling him to dump his fuel so he doesn't catch fire when he lands. So Hera is talking to Wedge.
Yes, Hera and Wedge have quite a bit of screen time, and
Love
Wedge,
it.
obviously junior to Hera. He was in the. We're gonna watch this in the Wedge episode watch along, the Antilles extraction. He's someone who defects from the Imperials, much like Sabine did, and so
Hmm.
Sabine is actually going to be the one to help him out of there. I watched that episode too because I just got caught into the. You know what happens? You watch one, and you watch seven. But Hera is doing this longer than him and is helping him with his piloting. So Wedge, who we know from the classic trilogy, studied under Hera, which
Yes.
is awesome. Obviously, different actor in this, by the way. There's a voice actor that they cast to play young Wedge, who is not obviously the actor who's in the original trilogy.
Right. And I love Chopper's little dig, like, did your astromech not make it? And Hera's like, no, my astromech did not make it. And then she realizes who's talking to her.
Yep. Um, so Sarah's talking about
This guy.
he's such a little murder bot. Do I have a chopper in here? Oh yeah, I've got a little mini chopper in here. Can you see this? Um,
Yes.
Star
Oh,
Wars,
wow.
like yeah, and right
That's
there,
cool.
right? Neat,
Yes.
right? I got it. This
Cute.
one I didn't take out of the box because the pieces are so little. There's a Kanan, there's an Inquisitor. I've got a chopper. I've got Ezra with his helmet on with his slingshot. Zeb, Sabine. It looks like an Imperial stormtrooper. Yeah, and Zeb.
And we have Hot Callus. Hello, Hot Callus.
He looks great. I love his character model for season 4. They did a
Yes.
fantastic job with him. And Mon Mothma looks good. And there's Jan Dodonna.
Yeah.
Another deep cut. It's funny that these are like deep cut characters from the classic trilogy, but because they've been around for 40 years, everyone knows who they are. Jan
Right.
Dodonna has all of 3 minutes of screen time, and he's in numerous episodes of Rebels. They give him a voice actor who I met at a show, and I'm blanking on his name at the moment because I forgot to be prepared for this.
Oh, you're
But
fine.
he was really nice actually, and he signed an 8x10 for me. So he's on
Oh,
my rep like a solo picture. But like he's probably another one who I should have put on the big piece.
that would be cool. Oh my God. Ahsoka is trying to get Chopper, and I put him on my laptop, but now she's trying to get him.
Sarah was talking about Sabine's hair color.
Hell yeah.
She has the most diverse mix of character models throughout the show. Her and Ezra, aside from the fact that they're both actually aging, they're not really adults yet. They're still like adolescents. But she changes her hair color, and I like season 3 because it's very dark, but then season 4 with that like bright white and pink, it almost feels very hopeful.
Yeah.
Like even though this is the darkest of times, like it's her brightest look. Although her helmet from season 2 or season 4, the pink helmet, that's the one. That's my favorite helmet, I think.
It is mine too. Yeah. Her whole armor, this whole look is my absolute favorite. So,
I've got a time code of 1840. No, oh my God, 458. It was 1840 left. 458. So we're right around the 5 minute mark.
yeah.
Dave.
I'm actually at 5:15, so I'm a little bit ahead.
Yep, they have 512 now, so a couple. Yeah, we're right there. I will say they do a great job recreating in animation the look and feel of the classic trilogy with like the green boards with the lines, like those computer graphics look really clean, but
Yeah,
so like the tech of the time.
it's true. Yeah, they definitely captured it well. And I love how Mon Mothma is like teaching them like, you know, what they've been working on. And I think they're starting to realize that the rebellion is bigger than what they thought.
Yeah. And they're up against some really tough um challenges. Thrawn, who we don't see in the original trilogy, but people probably know what he's like from the original string of books. They give him a lot of those same characteristics in Rebels, where he's very intelligent. That's probably his best feature, right? He can unravel a plan from the opposing side. Like he's a master at the art of war. So Mon Mothma is going up against him, and we didn't see that in the original trilogy. Obviously, it's new content. But they're really coming from a pretty hopeless spot there. And so Ezra's trying to talk about, I need to help people on Lothal. And she's like, we have problems everywhere and we're losing. So how do we turn that around?
And you start to see Kanan do a lot of meditating and spending a lot of time connecting with the Force. And he seems a little more sensitive to, whatever problems that Ezra has. Like he's attuned with not only the Force, but with what's wrong with Ezra and can almost read his thoughts.
Yeah. He feels the most like a Jedi Master this season,
True.
where in season one you could tell that he was not particularly tuned in. He was figuring out stuff the same way Ezra was, and then this time around he has a lot of like Obi-Wan and Yoda in him. Not just, and I think they give you some of that physically with the posing where he's got his eyes closed, obviously blinded, but he's like sitting there with the meditative pose that you would see a lot of in Clone Wars. They were always meditating in Clone Wars. And then in this show, he very rarely does it until we get to the end of season 3. And when he meets the Bendu, and here in season 4, as he's like preparing for the end. Oh boy, here comes Saw Gerrera. Ruining our touching moment.
Way to go, Saw.
I will say he's not wrong.
No.
This is, and I still challenge Dave, who's actually producing us tonight. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Filling in for Jeff. I challenge the unifying force to do that debate of Saw Gerrera versus Mon Mothma at some point. Maybe they'll have more of this in Andor. I don't know, because this seems like an end game kind of fight. Like they've been at this for a while, and he has had it. And she knows, like she knows what he's all about, like that he, tortures people, and he thinks she's weak. They will have to find that out in the production order from Andor.
And even Kanan and Ezra have this conversation before he appears here. Like they want to know. Ezra asks him, like, he fights. He goes about it a different way. He's not handling things the way these people are, and it's not how you fight. It's just that you fight.
Mon Mothma sort of gets a line from Rogue One, if we fight the way you do, what will we become? And it's a line that got cut from Rogue One that Saw sort of says in the trailer to Jyn Erso, if you continue down this road, like, what will you become? And I always thought it was weird that was cut from the trailer. I mean, there was a lot of reshoots and a lot of stuff in the trailer that didn't make it final film, but that became like a thing to hold on to. Like, what would you become in these circumstances? Who would you follow, Saw or Mon Mothma? And in theory, like, on paper, I align very much with Mon Mothma. She's one of my all-time favorite characters, and I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. And I want to do all things celebrating Mon Mothma. And then I think we get to real life, and it's like, damn it, I'm on Team Saw, and I'm going to follow him down to whatever explosion kills us all. Like, because I'm that guy. It just, you all the red flags, and I keep going.
Yeah, it's just, I think this is where Ezra learns the difference about, like, planning and strategic, defense against the Empire versus acting and being on the offensive in order to stop them before they can do damage. And I think ultimately it helps him be a better Jedi.
Yeah, the Jedi would certainly more likely align with Mon Mothma. Jedi before the Clone Wars. That brings up the other big thing. You could tell how corrupted the Jedi were because they were so willing to be generals in an army. They shouldn't be in that situation. And Mon Mothma is often compared to like really living life by the Jedi code, even though she's someone who's not a Jedi. So she gets a lot of respect for that. I love all her ideals. They're just hard to live up to in these circumstances, which then brings up the great philosophical case. Well, like if it's easy, then it's not worth anything. Like if you're able to behave this way when things are challenging, then it means you have convictions. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I don't have convictions because I actually like where Saw's headed, and I'm gonna join him through.
And that's what Hera struggles with right here.
Yep.
She's starting to think that Saw and Ezra have the right idea and just hurting the Empire before they can hurt them. And Kanan's like, no, that's Saw talking. That's not you. You're doing the right thing. You're taking, the proactive route to little steps, make big changes.
And Mon Mothma's plan is good, I will say. Like, she is right about this particular moment where it's like, we're not going to disrupt or blow up the communication because we don't want to be found out by the Empire. We're going to infiltrate, which I think goes back to the larger themes of Andor, that you need to play this under the radar. You need to go unrecognized. She's able to be a spy within the Senate for years because she's barking about other things that people are not paying attention to. What did she say? Something about being annoying enough that no one will suspect that she's actually like working against them. That's her go-to. Like, if you were going to start building like a skill set from Dungeons and Dragons, you'd almost make her like super deceitful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's someone who and it's
Correct.
and like the opposite of charismatic. I don't know what that would be, but it would almost be repellent in a way that then people don't get close enough to her to learn the truth. Like she's
Right.
pretty polarizing. And I love that about her because they really crafted like a very complicated character.
Oh my gosh, this drop in on the satellite dish is so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I can't. Watching this on a big TV, I was almost dizzy. The animation's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The falling looks real. There's some real risk here. It doesn't go their way, obviously, because it is Rebels. There's always like, but remember we were talking about this episodes ago, where it's like every episode is like an infiltration of sorts, and then they even bring it up at one point, like you guys are great at infiltrating things, and I was like, yep, that's well they do for like 80 episodes.
Oh, poor Chopper.
I do enjoy the jetpack. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to see Sabine flying around so skillfully. It is her birthright, and she is good at it. And then Ezra's keeping up. He's doing a good
Yeah.
job.
He
I like
finally
his.
got that jetpack he wanted so badly.
Yeah.
And Sabine's line, whereas like I like abstract art, I don't want to become it. Like I'm like, yes, girl.
There are some great lines like that in the show.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Sabine and Ezra too doing their thing, like because they were like the kids in season one.
Oh yeah.
Like they're in charge, and Chopper's there to help because they need a droid, but like they're fully capable of doing any of this on their own. Hera's flying the ship, like she's the drop off and the get out, and Zeb is keeping a lookout, I guess, but like Zeb's not doing a whole lot. Let's be clear. He'll take up a gunner spot at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can watch stuff like this all day, where they're just
Yeah.
messing with the Empire a little bit. Oh, so while we have like a little bit of a lull in the action, tell everyone a little bit more about Boston since I missed out. Catherine Tate canceled, and I had a nervous breakdown and decided not to go. That's the TLDR on my not attending Boston. But it's okay. I will meet her another time. I will stalk this lady until I find her.
Yeah. Hopefully she comes to Rhode Island. They're not done with that guest list yet. So
Yeah, that would be amazing because I am definitely going to Rhode Island, regardless of who's on the guest list. That's the family meetup that I'm looking
cool.
forward to. And of course,
Yeah.
Comic Con is coming up, and I'll be going to at least one Monster Mania. I might get dragged into another one because I have some friends in the New Jersey area that we might stay with. Either way, those things are coming. But tell everyone about Boston.
So Boston, I guess Catherine Tate wasn't the only Whovian with a problem. I heard that David Tennant had a family emergency and wasn't able to get to his flight on time on Saturday or Friday leading into Saturday. So he ended up coming on Sunday and made it up to everybody.
Okay.
That was really cool. My friends got to meet him. And Ewan McGregor, oh my God, you guys, like if you can meet Ewan McGregor, I know it's not cheap, but the man is incredible. He's the nicest guy. He took time with everybody in the photo op. He had a lot of fun ones with people that made me laugh. And I got to witness a friend of mine, Shannon and Dylan, get their photo op done because I was in the doorway about to go in to get mine done. And it was just really funny. They're like, okay, make a Ewan sandwich. And her husband was like, what? Make Ewan a sandwich? And they all laughed and the photo came out amazing. But he was really, really sweet. He gave me a hug in my photo and he
Oh,
signed my Dr. Sleep poster because I love that movie.
oh, that's
And
fantastic.
I told him, thank you for making that movie. It was one of my favorites. He goes, I didn't know people liked that movie until I started doing these conventions and people tell me how much that they like it. So that was really cool. And like absolute gentleman, so kind, so great with the fans. Totally, if you can
Yeah.
do it.
I saw a lot of good photo ops on not just in the Facebook group that we're a part of, but all over
Yeah.
Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. So it looks like he was really good with the fans. I'm wondering why he wasn't at Celebration. Oh wait, no, he was at Celebration.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't at Celebration. Yeah, so hopefully he'll be doing the circuit more frequently now. If he did Celebration and now he did this like one-off Boston show,
Yeah.
you wonder like, is it something he'll do more regularly? And the price was about where I thought it was. It was a 250 for a photo or 250 for an autograph.
Yeah, 250 for an 8x10 and about 250 for a photo op. If
Okay.
you wanted like bigger than an 8x10, it was 299.
Okay, that's not
Yeah.
surprising. Everyone's got an
Yeah.
upcharge now on these bigger things, especially like multi-sign pieces and posters and stuff like that.
Right.
Because they're seeing the flipper market explode. I was dealing with that when I was at Authentics.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, and I would want to meet the person, and I more than ever I like the photo op now. Like I like the evidence of being with the person as opposed to getting an individual piece signed.
Right.
Because I have so many now from having been in that space for a while. I was like, oh, I should have been getting pictures. So I
Yeah.
would do that. Plus, I want more big pieces, like multi-sign pieces. If I could tell anyone now, if you haven't started collecting autographs yet, find one really great piece with a lot of people that you want to get signed. Like when I was on The Walking Dead, my friend Kelly, who actually wrote the cards for us at Tops, she got herself the Terminus map, the one that looks like just a map of Atlanta,
Oh, that's so cool.
and just started having everyone in the cast sign across the map. And most people signed at like a place of importance for them. Like this is where my character was killed in theory on the map, or this is where I actually bought my house in Atlanta. Like, or oh, this city's named Butt. I want to sign by Butt. Like it's stupid stuff like that. Like get yourself one of those. And then she's put cool
Fun.
pictures too with people to like put on there. So she has this amazing cast piece, and it's all personalized and stuff. So you couldn't even flip
Wow.
it if you wanted to. But like that's a lifelong treasure. So I'm sort of doing that smaller scale on my Rebels thing over here.
That's why I wanted Ewan to write my name on the poster. Like I didn't have to. He was doing personalizations. He just wasn't writing inscriptions, but he did on a few people, which is really, really cool of
Yeah,
him.
that's nice.
But he wrote to Ashley, Dear Ashley, all love you, McGregor on mine. And
He
I
puts a
was,
little X too for the kiss. Yeah,
yeah, little
yeah,
X. So
that's nice.
it's very sweet. And the hope is to get home to HorrorCon, Connecticut and
Ooh.
get Mike Flanagan and Alex Esso, who played Wendy Torrance in Doctor Sleep, and Henry Thomas, who played Jack Torrance in Doctor Sleep, to
Oh
sign.
wow, then
Yeah.
that's your trinity right there for that poster.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's
So
awesome. When
fingers
is
crossed.
HorrorCon in Connecticut?
I think it's September 15th and 16th.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's soon.
Yeah.
So gotta
Horror
get home and
conventions are like
get.
August, September, October.
Mm-hmm.
Chiller is always right around Halloween weekend, which is not my favorite show anymore. I prefer Monster Mania, but all of these are great, especially if you're a horror fan, because like they bring every level from like the A-listiest to like the D-listiest and like the worst of horror movies. And it's like, but there's a market for that. Everyone loves a terrible horror movie.
Oh my
Um,
God. Sorry, Saw is just throwing explosives down.
and if this doesn't sum up his character, like there's no regard for human life right there. Any of those could just like pop at any moment, like detonated or not.
Yeah.
David's
Look how
really
fast they're
interesting
going.
here, where he's saying that he's got an OG clone trooper helmet to get the Clone Wars cast signed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, GalaxyCon in Raleigh. Nice. I enjoy all of this. The explosion that's upcoming. Yeah, so Saw to the rescue. So this brings up the major conflict here. Mon Mothma set up a mission. It didn't go well. They've been found out, and then Saw shows up and just blows it all to bits. Again, a little bit of a heavy-handed metaphor, but there's a big body count too. They killed a bunch of people right there. Not the way that Mon Mothma would operate. Certainly not the way that Hera would really operate, though we do see her kill a lot of people in Rebels. Like if you rewatch.
And right here, like, it scares the hell out of Kanan and Hera because they're on the dish. They see that dish blow up and they don't know if their family is okay. So we got two tubes too.
Yep. I think it's Matthew Wood doing the voice for him. I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering.
Happy birthday, Matthew Wood. It is his birthday today.
Ooh.
Really, really nice guy. Awesome voice actor, awesome sound guy. One of the best.
Academy Award nominations for sound design. And
General Grievous.
Yep. And of course he's Grievous. And Bib Fortuna in the new, my husband's favorite. So we've got an old timey Bib Fortuna he did in episode 1 where he's actually the person, and then he also does the voice in Bad Batch and in the last season. Where else? There was another place, probably in like Lego and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
he does everywhere. Like the battle droids and everything, and so much fun with that.
He's terrific. I've got great stories with Matt Wood from my time at Tops, and we brought him to numerous events, including Celebration 17, Celebration 19, which is terrific. That was In the Name of the Rebellion Part 1. Great setup. Easy to understand conflict. Are you Team Mon Mothma or Team Saw Gerrera? Everyone thinks the Rebels are one team. They are not. They are many factions. They have different ways of thinking about how we should handle the rebellion. Obviously, Saw Gerrera is not part of the structure that Mon Mothma has created, where people have like ranks and it's very military driven, and they operate as like a unit. He's like a wild card in all of this.
He is. And, as much as, Hera and Ezra find themselves agreeing with him, they're still trying to decide if Saw can be trusted.
Yeah.
And his blatant disregard for the rules and for the war games itself.
For people's safety.
Yeah, people's safety especially. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He just has one goal in mind, and that's to bring down the Empire.
Yeah, he'll allow the collateral damage, whereas Mon Mothma will not. She values life more. Um, it's funny. Team Saw Mothma. They, you know what I would love to see if we're gonna start. I'm gonna add this to my Andor predictions list. We know they're both in the show. They have to team up on something because he's gonna have to find out that she's a spy, and she's gonna have to see what he's doing. They're gonna team up on something, and it's gonna go poorly. I would like to see that moment. What is the triggering event that makes these two hate each other so much? Because they do not like each other, even though they both, I think, have a respect for each other for like what they're trying to achieve. But like something happened. What do you think?
Oh man, yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a mission, and I think Saw was. This is my speculation, not knowing anything. So should it happen in Andor? It's not my fault. I didn't read people's minds. Um, I think Saw was probably a commander on a mission that she was in charge of, and his impulsiveness botched something, and people died, and it just drove him away from again, even more so when his sister died. It drove him away from the official rebellion and kind of made him
Yeah,
a guerrilla warrior in this whole fight. So that's my speculation. If it happens, cool.
yeah. I'm curious because he must partially blame anyone who was in the Senate during the Republic for a lot of what happened during the Clone Wars, including Steela's death. Um, and then when he finds that he may have some like-minded allies like Bail, you almost wonder if like because Bail had an ear to the ground, right? Like Bail found Ahsoka and finds the rebels at the end of season 1, and he seems to really be like the man who's out there, like kind of putting it out there. Whereas Mon Mothma is a little more behind the scenes, maybe a little more careful. Bail seems to be really rogue, like and maybe he's the one who found Saw Gerrera and introduced him to Mon Mothma, and then like that just went badly. Like I'm seeing bad blind date from Dave, but is it Bail that made the connection and then it blew up, right? Because like they're not
Space
going to.
Tinder.
Yeah. Whereas like
Sorry.
Bail actually works with both of them, right? Like Bail has partnered with Saw and Bail has partnered with Mon Mothma. He's somewhere in the middle
Right.
in theory. And Bail has worked with the Fulcrums, whether that be Ahsoka, Leia, probably Brea, which I would love to see in Andor as well.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
I'd like her to have a big role because she was a great part of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I was like, why plant that seed if we're not going to water it later, right?
Now, do you think that we'll see young Jin in this when Saw is forced to abandon her?
I don't know if there's a story left for Jin. I got to be honest. Like, I think her like story, start to finish, is what it is.
Right.
Whereas like the story is the rebellion, and she's not really part of that. Like, she was part of his thing as like a young kid.
Yeah.
But like, I don't
But
know.
she was part of his band of rebels,
Yeah.
and I think things got too hot for him, and he kind of, maybe this is again more speculation. I think Mon Mothma kind of berated him for bringing a child into this, and
Yeah.
it was like, you're right, I was friends with your father, I want to protect you, this is what I'm going to do. So I don't know, I kind of think maybe we might see a little something like that.
I don't think you can
Not
use,
a whole thing, but just like,
yeah. You couldn't use Felicity, and the age difference is you have to get someone pretty close in age, but not so much younger. Like Leia's so much younger.
Yeah, she was
like,
16 when she was abandoned by Saw.
Yeah.
So if this is 5 or 6 years before the events of Rogue One, she's how old is she in Rogue One? I forgot.
She's probably about 20, so she's probably 15, 16. I always thought she was the same age as Leia. So which make her
Right.
she would have been like 19 or 20 at the age of the events of A New Hope and Rogue One, so she'd be like a teen
Hmm.
ish. I don't know. I hate that age because we hate that we want to treat them like adults, but they're still children. It's actually one of one of my I have a list of I have a small list of complaints about Rebels, and we've touched upon a couple of them already, which is sometimes how they like the main story of Rebels becomes a side plot to a larger Star Wars story, if not done correctly, and that can happen every now and then. But my other
Hmm.
complaint is that like they are children, Ezra and Sabine, but they are given these like weighty responsibilities like adults in a lot of situations that I think are really unfair, and I think are really
Dropping it into a satellite dish
yeah.
and
Um,
expecting to move it.
yeah, and I get that like Jedi kids like get this done to them when they're like literally, toddlers.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think that's fair, and we saw that the Jedi fell for a reason. I think that kind of dogma leads to that. Sabine even less so because she doesn't have force powers. She's a Mandalorian, but she was exiled. She was kicked out of the academy as like a deserter. She went AWOL as like a teenager who was trying to reevaluate the fact that she didn't want to create weapons of mass destruction. Like that's the kind of thing where it's like so heavy to even say out loud. It sounds insane. Um,
Yeah, that's like
and
child
maybe it's
abuse
why
all
I'm
over the place.
yeah. And maybe too, it's like, well, we shouldn't go that deep. Like, but
Yeah.
that's the whole point of our show is that we're over analyzing and trying to contextualize this ridiculous cartoon. So we're
But this
supposed to
is
take,
why we love it
yeah, exactly.
and why we're
Um,
qualified to do this job.
Yes, because I think about this stuff and it's insane. But actually, I do love both those characters, and their age is not like a major limiting factor. It really adds to the fact that it's so unfair that it falls on their shoulders. And if you think about Luke and Leia, it was really unfair for them too. Leia had been
Seriously.
in politics for years, but she was still a child, and she was probably a spy from when she was a tween. Like dealing
And
with
we
like
see that here
the
in Rebels.
government.
She was like,
Yeah.
what, 14 when we see her on Rebels?
I think it's about
15?
15, 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is still too young to
Same age
have
as,
to give consent for a variety of things. Certainly can't vote. So that's the kind not that voting happens in Star Wars, it seems. But
we know
like,
what happens in elections in Star Wars.
yeah, we know the results before they happen. That brings up even in episode one, Amidala, played by then 19-year-old Natalie Portman, was elected queen of the planet. Never mind city council, governor, senator, queen of the planet, queen, the whole planet.
Not a
I don't know
country,
how
a
many people
whole planet.
live there, but there seem to
Yes.
be a lot of people. Based
Hmm.
on the final scene of the movie where there's a parade. So even if it's thousands of people, like they put this child in charge. Like
A
I was
whole
like,
bunch
where
of
are the
them.
qualified adults? Where are the qualified adults? Like you know how many like qualified women are probably being like the stupid 16-year-old is sitting there, like like women who have lived, and are in their 30s, 40s, or whatever, and perfectly capable of doing that job better than a child. Not that Amidala is not to be trifled with, but like she's an exceptional case, and that's why she's the lead of that movie, basically. But, like,
Exactly.
there are things in Star Wars that really like make me like grind my gears, and that's the kind of stuff where like why are these children like tasked with these like impossible things?
It's one of the great mysteries of the series, but
Yeah. All right, now that we fully lost the plot again, we should
yes,
move into part two. So, do
we're
you want to
going
do
to
the
part two.
countdown? But this is a very good Saw episode, by the way, coming up. There's very little Mon Mothman. There's a lot of Saw, and there's a big reveal. So prepare yourself, strap in.
All right, guys, let's go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
So in rewatching this episode, I forgot like the MacGuffin reveal that happens at the end. I fully had that in my mind in a different place. So when it happened, I like audibly gasped. And my sister's like, "Aren't you an expert on the show? Don't you have a YouTube show about this show? Like, how do you not know what's going to happen?" I was like, "No, I forget sometimes what lives where." And I forgot that this was the reveal of what's on the ship, and we're going to see it coming up. I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it in a while, but
Yeah.
like, it's crazy, and it makes me again bring you back to like we're so close to A New Hope. We're so close to Rogue One and all the stuff that's brewing in the background. Like these episodes are just so important. And I really think people who do skip Rebels are doing themselves a disservice. Not just to like get those little pieces that connect the breadcrumbs, but the storytelling is also just really good.
Right.
See, Geonosis wiped out the whole population.
Because they were hiding something.
Yep. We saw that happen in Bad Batch in the finale of season 1. Rumors, whispers. Yeah, there used to be a whole population there. They genocided them. So wait for it, more coming.
You're good
There
at
it is, my line.
infiltrating.
Infiltrating invasions. There it was. That was the other one too. This was an episode chock full of surprises for me. Run Mon Mothmas Aaron's. Oh, girl, I'm telling you, he's saucy about something.
Or do something that might actually matter. That's,
He's a jerk.
but you know what? I think what happened on Geonosis with both like his sister and his team and the poisoning that he had to deal with, like clearly you can see him wearing more of the apparatus on his armor. He just wants revenge. He wants to figure out what was worth all of this trouble and the lives of his people and the lives of his sister.
Yeah,
To
he's
just
in anger.
yeah, he wants revenge.
Yep, he leads with anger. He is singularly focused on bringing down the empire. He does seem like a crazy conspiracy theorist. The concern is that he's usually correct, but he's like a madman, and he's like lost the ability to play well with others. And when you isolate yourself like that, even when you're right, people aren't necessarily going to back you up. It's what happens. Why he ends up on Jeddah, sort of by himself with his little crew of like hardcore followers, and that's it. But he's not part of the larger rebellion that you see on Yavin in that movie for this reason.
Right. And I love how Chopper is just like, what? When Sabine tells him that he needs a new paint job.
I love the movie looks of Chopper. We need to do a listicle of our favorite alternate paint jobs of Chopper as like a celebrity Chopper thing.
I think there's like 2 or 3.
There's
the black one. Yeah. And then there's this one. And I'm pretty sure there's one more.
He's got a black and silver, like just true Imperial look too. There's been a few that he's like they've used to get him into places.
I made sure to get that pop figure when I came out.
The orange one or the Imperial?
Both. Yeah, I have both. Basically anything Chopper aside from the backpack that they had at Celebration 2017, I've been able to get my hands on.
That's cool. I should talk a little bit about the merch I pulled from my own closet that you forget you have sometimes, because these are my old Galactic Connections discs.
Oh wow, I haven't seen those in a long time.
2015. They went from 2015 to 17, like in 4 waves. But I have a ton of these. So I have so many of these discs. And I think wave 3 was when we started introducing Rebels characters. So I've got to go through and see if I can pull together a set for you of some Rebels.
That'd be cool.
Whole cast, but like. We have some people. And then I found the Star Wars Rebels magazine. Look at that. This is some season 1 Ezra hair. So I got to flip through it, and like there's a little comic in here. There's like a pull-out poster. This came out in March of 2016. It looks like Star Wars Insider, but it's like just says Star Wars Rebels magazine from March 2016.
I think I remember seeing that in bookstores. I just didn't buy it because I thought it was like for kids, but I should have.
It very much is.
I think Ezra can hear like the Force, like using the Force to like hear the people in this scene.
Yeah, he's very tuned in this season, and leads with empathy, unlike Saw Gerrera. Look at that! This.
Oh, cool!
Have Jason Isaacs sign, right?
Like, yeah, that'd be great.
Stuff. And then I found this poster a page book. I don't know where the hell I found this.
Wow.
So, and there's literally a poster on every page. So like
that's a pretty fantastic.
Would have been cool for Steve to send.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. So I can't believe this is kind of just sitting in boxes, right? Like this is one of the problems with being a collector is every now and then like something's really cool and awesome. In March of 2016, it probably sat on one of my shelves for 2 years and then eventually went from a shelf to a box. Like this is one of the problems too with Star Wars being that big, right? Because more stuff's coming in, nothing's ever going out, but more's always coming in.
I have the same problem. I'm about to move and my collection is insane, and I'm gonna have to downsize a little bit once I get settled. But
my husband has taken when we were doing the cleaning, we took like a small box and we're like, all right, let's give away this, let's throw away this. Let's try to eBay some of this. like just create some buckets. It's almost like Marie Kondo light, where it's like it's not only that it doesn't bring me joy anymore, it's that there's literally no space for this. So and and this is because I'm hosting the show. Like this, I actually would love to flip through some merch at some point and do that as like a show. Like
Yeah.
let's talk about some of the merch. Because
Yeah, that'd be really cool. We should add it to the list.
yeah. But like that still brings me like a joy, I like that. What else did I get from
Cool.
what else did I pull from the closet? Oh yeah, I bought these at a convention, like these little playing cards. They're actually not trading
Oh,
cards, they're playing
I
cards.
remember
So
those.
yeah. And they just got the Rebels characters on them. So I've two decks
That's
here.
so
So
cool.
I gotta send you one. I was actually gonna bring these to Boston for you, but
Oh, that'd be
time I
cool.
see you,
Thank you.
once you move, I'll get your new address and send you a little care package. And
Oh,
then
thank you.
my Ezra lightsaber. Where the hell did I put it?
Don't make
Um,
me jealous.
well, it's the cheap rubies one, which was great because like it just. Oh, there it is. I'm just gonna slide back real quick. Um, this, and it's got like the blaster handle. Very Halloween costume, right?
That
Like
is
I
cool.
think like it was only like, rubies. I don't think that like Hasbro or anyone actually made a Ezra lightsaber. I'd have to double check, but like this
I
is
don't
neat.
think they did. No,
So,
I don't remember seeing one.
yeah.
I know they have those toy ones at Disney World and Disneyland, but I haven't been able to find them anywhere.
Yeah. Again, like Rebels, because of the premiere not being like the premiere season not being like a runaway hit, all the merch that came out didn't sell particularly well. And so then it created a ripple effect where like the quantity of merch that just happened after that just continued to shrink. And now we're in a place where it's like it's almost retro, where did we get a Black Series figure of a certain character? If not, it might be coming. But now there's new streams to focus on. Hey girl,
Hi.
is she watching along? There's no Ahsoka
Yeah.
in this episode.
Yeah, she's okay. And this is pretty much what they find out that the Empire has engineers captured and taken away from their families.
Yep. We got a small glimpse of that on Lothal when Ezra's friend, the Rhodian, we watched that one on July 4th, the Empire Day episode. His
Yeah.
friend from Lothal had the data monitor like implanted in his head the same way.
Tebow, yeah.
Yeah, Tebow, yes. The same way that Lando's right-hand man, oh my God, I'm blanking on his, I've lost all my names today. Like my brain has evaporated.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. So that was coerced, is my understanding, and
Yes.
they're just grabbing people for their expertise, and they're gonna. It's very Director Krennic and Galen Urso being forced to build the Death Star. So you're seeing those little planting the seeds of like, if you have a skill set, it's going to get exploited for the Empire.
And right. And one of them even says, like, I, they took me away from my family. So it's exactly what they did to Galen.
Yep. I like seeing Death Troopers. That's very cool. Saw Sabine and Ezra actually make quite an effective team as they're like plowing through everyone. Like they're pretty good.
I love that he's like, you're a very kind little droid, and Trevor's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you don't know me.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't know how many people I killed this season. The Death Troopers look really good.
I do. I think this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, the first time you see Death Troopers in animation in the series.
Yeah. And outside of Rogue One,
Yeah.
I mean, no other place for them to live at this point. There wasn't a lot. It's so funny to think like the content stream under Disney, like they cranked out a lot of stuff, but it was one movie a year. And the Rebels cartoon was running, and that was it. And then Mandalorian hit, and there became an expectation of like how many TV shows are we going to get, and how will they line up? And it's the acceleration of content is, I think, an interesting conversation for like another day, just accelerating content across all fandoms, because it is changing the way we absorb media and the way we discuss media.
And here's the humming he heard.
Yep. This was what he was hearing. This is horrifying, by the way. Horrifying.
Like, where did they get this? And how many people had to die for them to get this?
Yeah. Did it come from Ilum? I mean, there are various places that we know crystal wise, but Ilum is probably the most famous famous location. Yeah, they mentioned Krennic.
There he is. This is just, I remember watching this and just being like, oh, like as soon as I see like the casket melt away and you see the green Kyber.
Yeah. The Kyber crystal obviously powers the Death Star, and can be used for a variety of weapons. It's interesting they never put them into like small scale weapons. Like you almost wonder if like harnessing the power like creates such a burst you couldn't weaponize it into a gun because it might explode or just like otherwise not function on a small scale. Because I always thought like those types of lasers would be really effective.
But we see Ezra do it with the blaster. Like somehow he's able to turn his lightsaber
His
into a
lightsaber.
blaster too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's not really high powered and it's not really
Yeah. It doesn't
damaging.
kill from what I could
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
And
It
he's
seems
also
like it just stuns.
yeah. And his is still meant to be like a lightsaber first and foremost. So does that have something to do with it? And then in theory, could every lightsaber also be a blaster? Like we could have that conversation too. I'm I'm interested in this large chunk of Kyber though, because obviously we know it's going toward a Death Star. Are there other projects in the works that it could be used for, possibly? But yeah, this is like a planet killer potentially. That's a big chunk of crystal. And you're right. Where did it come from? Like Ilum is the only one that makes sense. Meanwhile, Saw turning the tables. Yeah. What's the line from Firefly? Curse your sudden.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Yeah, yeah, there it is. Very that.
Alan Tudyk, voice of K2SO.
Yep, the Firefly connection there. Although I've actually like strayed from this conversation. Rebels, especially in season one, feels a lot like Firefly.
It does.
That them traveling in the ship, behaving like a family, like going mission to mission, not part of a larger situation. It's very Firefly. And I do love that show. Joss Whedon is beyond canceled, and we won't support anything on a go forward. Obviously, I do, however, still love that TV show. Though I haven't rewatched it in a long time, largely because of the Whedon, like just the bad taste in my mouth. But whenever I watch Rebels, it actually like makes me think of Firefly quite a lot. And so when things like that happen, I'm like, they also watched Firefly.
They did. And Saw just does not want to give it up. He wants to stop the Empire before things get insane, but he doesn't know it's already there.
Yeah, super weapon. He uses the phrase super weapon.
And is it worth dying for to find this out? I will do whatever is required to be the victor.
Yep.
Mon wants
to do that.
Yeah, he just wants them to pay.
People seem to really love Firefly in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, gone too soon. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, it was a great show. The movie was terrific too.
I'm still bitter about what happened to Wash. Sorry, I will always be bitter about what happened to Wash. It made no sense.
Joss loves to kill characters, and we've seen that more and more. I think he's a bit of a sadist. I mean, we know what he's like in his personal life too. Like, so the going for the jugular to hurt someone is not super surprising. That body count is weird too, because it's like two beloved characters and then one rando to just fill out the body count.
Yeah, and the same thing kind of happened in Avengers, like with Coulson. Coulson is a fan favorite. He's like, oh, well, fans like this. Bye.
Yeah.
I was not happy about that either.
Yeah, I love enough on that. They did bring him back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but yeah, like if you don't watch that show, which I stopped watching after season one, there's just too much content. And this actually goes back to the larger conversation we've been having about like we're counting down to Andor, right? Andor August here and then some, and here we go.
Then some.
Yeah, and then Bad Batch is on the exact same time. Like Bad Batch premieres a week later, which also why? Like they could have bumped Bad Batch too, and I would have been fine with it. Like they don't need to both be on at the same time. In fact, I think it hurts them. I think Ms. Marvel was absolutely hurt by being on at the same time. What else was airing at the same time now? I've already
Kenobi.
Kenobi, yes.
Yeah.
So like that, but now they've at least spread out the days where there's like a Wednesday and a Thursday, which that should have been happening from the start. So
well, we also have She-Hulk, so they're just trying to space out the content, but at the same time, it's so much good stuff, like worth getting up at 3 a.m. Eastern to watch.
I know I shouldn't complain that there's too much. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not complaining there's too much content, because I'm thrilled by this. Like being someone who's 41, like if you could have told me at 7 years old that like me being loving comic books and that the X-Men were going to be in movies and that I was going to see like 20 something Avengers related movies and Star Wars was going to have more cartoons and they were going to
Yeah.
episodes 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, more movies and more TV shows, things I couldn't even possibly fathom. And there's this thing called the internet with streaming. Like it blows my
We're
mind.
so spoiled. It's an embarrassment of
Yeah,
riches.
yeah.
And you know what? I'm on board for all of it. Good, bad, whatever. I'm just happy we have it.
It's the restaurant thing, I don't like sushi, which is a weird thing to say, but like certain shows are like sushi and it's like, oh, not for me. But other people are gonna love it. And weirdly enough, Mark Ruffalo actually just mentioned that like Marvel is more like a restaurant than Star Wars because Star Wars is all very similar and Marvel is more diversified in its offerings. And I was
He's
like,
not
oh,
wrong.
I
No.
know. I was gonna say, I was like, oh, I actually agree. It's that line from Marge Simpson. It's like, well, it's true, but you shouldn't say it.
Hey, he knows. He
Yep.
knows.
Jeff Caffrey. That's right. We demand less content. Cancel this show first. So there we go. Um, so yeah. But this has been a wild ride of an episode. Like I can't get over the fact that Saw Gerrera we found this giant kyber crystal. But
And he
Saw Gerrera's
weaponized
trying to
it
blow it up.
against those death troopers and stormtroopers. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's unstable now. And this is going to make the Empire even more mad and
Yeah.
more focused.
Yep.
Oh my God, Chopper. So sassy.
I like his therapist job though. I think that's really cute.
Chopper foo.
Mhm.
Hashtag Chopper foo. It's the real thing. I sound like Joe Bob Briggs.
I'm
Chopper
a
foo.
big fan of Joe Bob. We met him and Darcy the Mail Girl at
Yes.
Mania in September of last year. That's a year ago already. Jesus. Yeah, I think the one in Baltimore, if I'm remembering
Yeah.
correctly. They're both fantastic, and they signed like a Fangoria magazine for us, and we got our photo op. It was a whole thing.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, we've watched the Last Drive, and it's always like a double feature, and it's always like
Mhm.
one decent movie and one horrendous movie. We will often like not watch live and instead just watch the compilation of just Joe Bob and Darcy and skip the actual movie. That's how I prefer to watch, because I cannot sit there for like 4 hours. My husband, on the other hand, has all the time in the world for that. Not that guy. My attention span is not that good. And unless it's a movie I really love, if they're covering something that I'm super into, I will also watch the movie and the wraparound content. But sometimes I just want to hear what they have to say, like whether I care about the movie or not, because I find them entertaining.
Oh yeah, same. And not all horror movies are my cup of tea. And I think the last one I watched was like Night of the Living Dead. They had on recently. They did the whole thing for that, so that was pretty cool to watch because I had never seen it. So I know I'm a terrible person.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, the movie's like
But it
50
was,
years old, and it's been,
yeah,
you
and I
know,
haven't seen it, so therefore,
eh,
no.
you know what it is like, and it's in the pop culture so much, like you
Yeah.
almost feel like you've seen it without having seen it. Meanwhile, this explosion is amazing. Again, goes back to my thesis statement of like why you need animation. Like this wouldn't look as good in live.
Yes.
This is gorgeous.
And Saw's mistake, it almost cost them their lives,
Yeah,
but it
he,
stopped the
he killed
Empire
a
from
lot of
getting their hands on
people.
a kyber crystal.
Yeah. I wonder. So I would want that crystal as the rebellion. I would want that crystal. I wouldn't know how to harness it. I wouldn't know how to turn it into a weapon. The problem though is if it's still a viable
Those
weapon,
two can't go anywhere without
I
blowing
will
something
find
up.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the show. These guys can't go anywhere without blowing something up. That should have been on the poster.
Yeah.
Like it's true. They blow up so many space stations and ships. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I do enjoy the fact that everyone who they rescued is going to help with the rebellion. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and having more people who are engineers and able to point them in the right direction.
Yeah. They need all the help they can get. Um, and Kanan's right. This is the second time they've seen a kyber crystal. Uh, and Sabine's like, can you even weaponize that? By the way, she's the weapons expert. So if she's concerned, is it
Yeah.
possible? But maybe it is possible. Yeah. It gives you the little breadcrumbs of like where we're headed.
And it's very worrisome.
Yeah.
The weapons expert is worried. The Jedi is worried. This
Yeah.
is uncharted territory for everybody in the rebellion.
Yeah. So I think these episodes give us, I mean, it's heavy handed, but they give us the major characteristics of Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera and why they're so different. And I think one of the major conflicts that we'll see within Andor. So if you're getting ready for Andor and you're counting down to who's in this cast, with Mon Mothma basically being built, the number 2 build, like Genevieve is truly like, she's going to be the second lead. Saw Gerrera, played by the awesome Forrest Whitaker. He's going to be a big part of the show.
He's a scene stealer. He's going to be great.
Especially this close to Rogue One, where he's kind of nuts, but like not nutty enough. He's still in conspiracy like territory, but he's not like full blown madman like he is in Rogue One. He seems like kind of with it. Like that's going to be fun to watch.
Are you going to see Rogue One in IMAX again? Like, is it coming to your area?
Well, I live in New York City, so I hope. I can't imagine it wouldn't be here. And we have some of the best IMAX screens. We've got the Lincoln Center one. We've got one at AMC in Times Square.
That's my favorite one.
It's a good screen. I actually just saw Nope in IMAX last weekend.
Awesome. It is a good movie.
Nope is so weird, you guys. And I knew very little going in. I tried to avoid spoilers, and I saw enough trailers where I was like, I don't know what's going on in this movie. And then I get there and I watched it, and there's like a weird subplot. I won't give anything away, but my take on Nope is that it is my third favorite Jordan Peele movie, but it is without a doubt the best horror movie I've seen all year. It beats out Scream, only because Scream is like a slasher standard, like, and they're not really comparable.
But did you see Black Phone?
I did see Black Phone. I thought this was Black Phone. Okay. But I love Black Phone, by the way. I thought that was also great. But Nope is so weird and strange and like so out there and makes you think. And it just kept sticking with me for days. And I finally had to do a little bit of like YouTube digging on like, okay, I think this is about the exploitation of animals.
It is.
And it turns out a lot of YouTubers agreed. So I was feeling very proud of myself for unraveling the message of that movie.
Good job.
But like, I loved it. I thought it was just so surreal and like weirdly grounded at the same time, which is a hard balance. Kind of like the way like Get Out is. Like Get Out is just like incredibly suburban and natural and like normal. And then, oh no, it's like the worst horror possible because it is so grounded and normal. And like, that sort of feels that way with Nope too. Almost like in Rebels, where it's like everything is like feeling kind of normal. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, we're at war with like the Nazis, like on like the grandest of scales. Like, you forget the background you're in sometimes.
But this
Rogue One comes to IMAX, I'll go.
Yes, it is going to be like, I really kind of hope to see it in IMAX. I know I did see it in IMAX when it was out the first time. I went to Providence, Rhode Island, to see it in the mall, and it was unbelievable. Like so many awesome scenes. That epic battle and above Scarif was just incredible on that screen. So if you guys have Rogue One playing near you, please go see it in IMAX. I promise you, it's unlike anything you've seen.
The Battle of Scarif might be my favorite like battle in a Star Wars, because it hits the ground, sky, space all in sequence, and I think all handled really well. Like each one works on its own, but then when you layer them together, it works as like a set piece. The cinematographer, the director, the script writer, the storyboarders who like put this all together, all the pieces
Tony Gilroy
somehow work. Like it's kind of crazy because you don't always get like Return of the Jedi doesn't have an air issue. Like there's no air battle. There's a space battle and there's a ground battle. And then you look at Phantom Menace and it's like just a lot of CGI that doesn't really land. So every battle, like, at the end of each movie has its own like pluses and minuses. But like this one, all three work, and all three work together.
It's true. And it's totally worth seeing, get you ready for Andor just as much as we will here in the virtual
Yep,
Cantina network.
that's right. Dave is also pointing out that they're going to watch Rogue One. I would assume it's probably right before the Andor premiere, like the week
Yes.
before. We still have to publish like our big calendar, which I keep threatening. That we're going to put up the
You've
whole
been
list for
busy. It's
everyone. Yeah.
fine.
I was one of the few people not in Boston this week, and I probably could have put all that together, and then I just did not. But let's tell everyone what's coming up. So today was Monday the 15th. We did In the Name of the Rebellion. So I hope everyone got a nice flavor as to like the Saw Gerrera Mon Mothma conflict. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of that bubbling in Andor. Just a reminder, Rebels is set after the events of Andor. So this is a sequel to what you'll see coming up next Monday. I'm so excited about this because we added this because of the and then some. This is our Callus watch along. So this one's going to be really fun.
Sorry.
Season 2, episode 17, The Honorable Ones, where Zeb and Callus are stuck together on Geonosis, who is name dropped in tonight's episode, as well as a major focus of last week. And then Through Imperial Eyes, which is season 3, episode 17, and that's the revelation that Callus is one of the Fulcrums and working for the Rebels. So
And
we're going to see
yeah,
Callus, story.
it's big if you are into shipping characters these next couple episodes. It just goes to show you that you can learn a little bit more by being around your enemy, and it could change your life.
Yep, episode 17, The Honorable One, sets up the Zeb Callus shipping. They start off as like brutal enemies in season 1. In fact, I love that episode, the one where they
Like
fight.
he shot at Zeb as Zeb was jumping onto the ghost. So
it's crazy.
David is confirming that they're watching Rogue One the week before Andor comes out. So
we'll definitely be watching.
Don't miss it.
I missed last Thursday's watch along for Clone Wars. Those are some of my favorite episodes because those are also Saw Gerrera episodes. And then Monday the 29th for us is The Occupation and Kindred, which I also rewatched at my sister's. We watched a lot of Star Wars. Those are great. And also focused on Yavin and the building of the rebellion. There's some great stuff happening there. Monday the 5th is Labor Day, so we have a pre-record listicle. That's going to be our top moments in building the rebellion that we see within Star Wars Rebels. So some big moments from some of the episodes we've been watching. So if you're following along with us and you want to make your own listicle, take notes while you're watching and remember the big moments. And then
we want to hear from you guys too. If you've got any top moments in any episode, please put it in the chats. We want to talk about it with you and hear from you guys.
And then Monday the 12th, another extension because of the and then some, the Wedge Antilles watch along. Obviously, Antilles is a major classic character who flies with Luke. He's in the original trilogy. We've got his origin story here in Rebels. So the Antilles Extraction, which is season 3, episode 4, and then season 3, episode 19, Double Agent Droid. This is a major Wedge episode, but it is also a major AP5 episode.
I love this episode so much. If you guys ever doubted that Stephen Stanton could do a successful Alan Rickman impersonation, this is the episode to watch. It is wonderful.
Stephen Stanton is one of my all-time favorite people. I miss working with him regularly. Like, it was so great when I worked at Thompson. He was just like in my life, because I don't work with him at Ruby's now. So every now and then I'll see him, but like he's
lucky.
Great people, and I miss him. And we're gonna watch that episode. I'm gonna let him know we're watching this episode so he can watch this on a pre-record or after the fact.
Oh, that'd be so rad.
Love Double Agent Droid. It's such a fun episode. And then that takes us to the end of the and then some. And God, we're like midway through September. Monday, September 19th, just 2 days before the premiere of Andor, so they tell us, we will do our Andor prediction show. We will have learned all about Callus, all about Wedge, all about Mon Mothma, Saw Gerrera, and every other random person in theory, like Jando Donna and whoever else could pop up in the Andor show. The only one who doesn't appear really is Cassian himself in Rebels. So that's going to be what our show on Monday the 19th will be about. What do we think we're going to see in Andor? And how will it connect to Rebels and all of that? So that'll be really fun.
And I've already made a couple of bold predictions tonight about that. So you guys can hold me to it as the season progresses. So
yep, it'll be fun. Sarah saying goodnight. We're going to say goodnight to you, Sarah. Thank you for joining.
All right, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.
And then Monday, the 26th of September, after the premiere of Andor, the first 3 episodes of Andor, we will undoubtedly unpack all of that through the lens of Star Wars Rebels. So that takes you through that. So you're booked, guys, between now and the end of September. Stuck with us.
We have done your homework for you, and we're here to teach. So join us.
It'll be really fun.
Yeah.
And I think all of Star Wars YouTube is gearing up for the premiere of Andor. I got to tell you, like the people who I've heard uh, got early screeners and whatnot said it's looking really good. So, and I don't always trust that, but this one with my ear close to the ground is saying it feels very different than other Star Wars shows, which I'm very excited about. I like when things are weirdly different, like the menu, right? Like I don't want everything to be a hamburger. I want
Different
everything to
is
be
good. Yeah, there's much more going on in the galaxy far, far away than the Jedi and the Sith. And it's cool to see this side of things
yeah,
and
agreed.
people fighting for their lives and their livelihood, like we see here in Rebels. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be good.
it's gonna be really fun. Well, I think that's it from us. We're at our we're overtime already, but I'm glad that everyone got to hang with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. It's been a great show, and we hope you join us next week.
Yep, Monday, August 22nd for the Callus Watch Along, Honorable Ones and Through Imperial Eyes.
Hot Callus Monday.
Yes, Callus
Join
Monday.
us.
Yeah. We'll see if Dave can find one of like the hottest pictures of Callus to put in the graphic.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Make his
We'll
hair extra messy. He's all
Dave and
good.
Jeff. I'll pull some images. So.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you right here next Monday for Star Wars Rebels Revisited.